Shalom, I'm Rabbi Jonathan Ginsburg. I'm going to do a series on the various denominations, their strengths and their weaknesses from my perspective. I was educated first at an Orthodox school on the south side of Chicago, but I was raised by non-Orthodox parents. If I had an opportunity to study Orthodoxy, and there are certainly wonderful things about it and some reasons why I'm not Orthodox. I'm not Orthodox first because they don't let women participate fully in Jewish life. Now, they believe that women cannot be witnesses in Jewish documents. Some Orthodox believe you can't even hear a woman sing. They don't let women in a minyan mix with men, by and large, read Torah, have aliyot, lead services. They segregate women from men in prayer. And for some reason, they believe that all of that is reasonable. Now, I understand through most of Jewish history that was like it is today. But of course, through most of world history, women couldn't own property, couldn't vote. And there's been a huge mind shift in enabling women to participate fully in the life of a democracy. And so Judaism has moved definitely in that direction too, so that all denominations of Judaism now allow women to be rabbis, to sign documents, participate fully in Jewish life, except for Orthodoxy. I think it's absurd. There's no reason that women should be separated in prayer. You can see the Muslims do that today. The Christians did that. There's no evidence we did it. In fact, the ancient synagogues have no evidence that men and women were separated. We probably borrowed that from the Christians and the Muslims, so it's a foreign innovation in Judaism, and it's absurd. And the fact that women shouldn't be allowed to be witnesses. For a long time, women weren't allowed to study Talmud and still aren't in various circles. The prayer book, still, for the Orthodox, has a sentence, "Thank you for not making me a woman." Now, they explain it by saying that the categories there of people that have less commandments are things that we should be grateful for, that men have more commandments. But I don't believe in that idea that some women should not have the same commandments that men should have. So that's one reason I could never be Orthodox. Secondly, I really believe that Orthodoxy doesn't have a correct understanding of the development of Jewish law. You can see changes in the Torah itself, like in there are many stories where the law changes in the Torah. You can see in the whole Talmudic process that the rabbis understood and interpreted. Now, the Orthodox to that will say, well, the rabbis in the Talmud were closer to Revelation, they were much wiser than we are. And one of the famous lines that we have is that a pygmy standing on the shoulder of giants sees further than a giant did. That things have always changed in Jewish law, and there are many classic midrashim which explain it. For example, one rabbi is arguing, and he has evidence from God by miracles that his way is right. The majority of rabbis still argue against him. Another midrash says that Moses wanted to see what was going on in the time of Rabbi Akiva, and so God took Moses to sit in the back of Rabbi Akiva's yeshiva, and Moses is paying attention, and he really doesn't understand what Rabbi Akiva is talking about. And finally, Rabbi Akiva traces the law back to Moses, and Moses understood that. It's clear that things have always developed organically, and they have to survive. And our critique of Orthodoxy is that once the Shulchan Aruch was written in 1600, then Judaism really ossified. On the other hand, Orthodoxy is incredibly vital. The synagogues are full, people attend services, they take Judaism seriously, they follow the mitzvot, there's joy and beauty and seriousness of intent, much more so than the other denominations. And so you have the beauty of Orthodoxy with some of the challenges or some of the issues that we find problematic. We wish that we could blend the two. There's also a kind of arrogance among some Orthodox, believing it's their way or the highway. They have the only correct form of Judaism, and they look down on other branches of Judaism. It borders on, I think, sinat chinam, the great sin of ceaseless and causeless hatred. But again, you have to balance it. There's good and bad in everything, and there's much beauty in the honesty and the integrity and the desire and the fervency and the love that Orthodoxy brings to Judaism. So the good and the bad, like in everything else.